What's up guys, it's Paul the Wiz back with another video, and today we're going to be discussing what's the best school to just start in Wizard 101. Alright, so let's get right with it. Alright, so we're going to start off with Fire. Fire is an overtime school. As you can see, it has Fire Elf, it has some good big hits as well. It has a good AoE that you get at level 22, which is pretty good. For questing obviously, and then Fire Dragon and Link. I would say this is just generally a good school for questing because it has those overtime. So, but at the same time, it's gonna be hard if you have someone to quest with you. It's gonna be pretty good because you have you need a heal, right? You kind of do have that with Link, but you will get Link at level 100, so it's gonna be pretty hard. But yeah, usually Fire is really known inside the game, and it has some really good gear. So even if you try to quest, there are going to be people who will quest with you. So it's a good school. I do recommend it, and yeah. So alright, so the next school is Ice. And one thing I really like about Ice is it's very defensive, I would say, because a lot of those spells, I could just show you right now. One of their main spells I use is this one's Tower Shield. This is the TC version, but the normal version is Tower Shield and Stun Block. Stun Block is more it's defensive, so you can be safe from being stunned and not having your round. So it's very safe, and it actually is pretty good because it's between those safeness and attacking. Usually Ice Wizards have around in PvP. What I've learned is they have a good amount of hit, some resist, and for some reason they crit like hell. They do have quite a lot of block though, so that's one thing about Ice. And yeah, so Ice is a pretty good school to go with. I really would like to do Ice. I'm training my Storm right now, but I will do my Ice next. So yeah, all in all, I like Ice. I will do it next. Alright, so now we have Storm. And Storm, it's one of my favorites because it's one of the high damage schools. It's really useful. A lot of people will help you because you're one of the main hitters in the game. You just generally do a lot of damage, but one problem with Storm is that they tend to fizzle a lot. Like recently on my Twitch streams and just my videos on my Storm, when I was questing it, I would constantly fizzle, and it was very annoying. Even with high resist, for my level at least, it was 13 resist, I still fizzled. 70 resist chance of casting, and I still failed. But as you can see, they do quite a bit of damage. As level 42 spell, that could do easily 2,000 damage if you have the right amount of hit. And Stormlord, it's very useful. It's very good. I don't think you get it level 100. You get it way before that, but it's still a very useful spell. So I am training my Storm right now. I don't know if I would recommend it. I would prefer Fire because it's still good damage and less chance of a fizzle. So I could show you 70%, but it's from my past Fire. Before I had this account, I had a Fire and I would train on it. It fizzled less, but could have just been my luck. But I do like Storm, but at the same time, it has that accuracy problem. So yeah. All right. So now we're on the Death. I really like Death, especially for questing. When I was questing it, it did a good amount of damage. You had good resist, and one thing I like about Death is you can drain. So what that means is you can hit them and take your health back from it. So I could show you most of Death spells are like that. So if I just show some of the Death ones, so you get this one. This is a Drain Ghoul, is a good one. What's it called? Vampire is a good one. Scarecrow, Wraith, they're all drain spells. This Dr. Vaughn's Monster is a drain spell. Sign of Death is a drain spell. What's it called? Krulu is a death spell, and it's drain. That's why I like it so much. Questing with Death is very easy. Honestly, I don't think there are any flaws with Death. I really love it, but one thing there is a problem with it, it's PvPing, and PvPing right now, in my opinion, Death is one of the worst schools to be in right now. It's just very, there's a lot of counters to Death, so I would recommend it for questing, but for PvPing, maybe I'm just bad at it. Most likely I am. I got 148 ranks, so but just from seeing like other streamers, they don't usually do death because it's pretty challenging, but still all in all a pretty good school. Alright, so now we're on to Myth. Myth is one of my most favorited schools ever. Like, I love this school. After what's it called, Ice, I want to do this. Just, I don't know. This is like one of those schools. If you play smart and you don't like abuse the game, like abuse it, you could really like. It's a very fun, what's it called, just school to play. Like, they have a lot of very useful spells, especially in PvP or just day to day. What's it called, questing. For example, Minotaur. It does a small damage hit and then it does a bigger one. That could be very useful if there's a shield on, and for Myth, for questing, that could be very useful in my opinion. Earthquake's very useful. It destroys shields and what's it called, blades, so I love this school, and if you do it well, you're going to do like a lot of damage. So yeah, honestly, I will try to do what's it called, Myth before Ice, because I think I like it better. And they have a lot of minion spawns, so in PvP it's just gonna be, it's OP honestly, and I think that's why I like it. But yeah, I would recommend Myth, highly recommend it. Alright, so now we're on to Life. So Life is a bit of a tricky one, I'm not gonna lie. Yes, it heals, it's a good heal school, it's a heal school. So as you can see, like they get this could be what's it called when you upgrade this spell, what's it called, using I actually don't remember what it was called, but I'll just search it up, hold on. Spellaments, yeah. It does do a, what's it called, small damage, then a heal, and heal, and there's more heal spells. But to me, Life has a problem. Its biggest problem is just doing damage, and especially for questing at lower levels, I think it's a very hard school just to quest in, because you don't do much damage. You won't have much high. You won't have high damage, so it's very hard to quest on. Life, yeah. Alright, I'm going to be also doing the other schools, the Astral schools, and the Shadow school. Just, it's not really a school you could start in, but I will be discussing it. Alright. Alright, so this is the Astral school. So this isn't, what's it called, the main school you can, what's it called, start on, but I'm doing this just for, like, people who are starting the game so they do not waste their points. Because this school is very important, especially a few of the spells. I've already trained them, but for some people, Magnify is going to be Frenzy is really important. That's for healing. I wouldn't use it, but there are a lot of important schools here, astral spells. So I'm going to just show them here because I've already trained them. Hold on. So yeah, for example, Strong, Giant, those all increase the damage on your attacks, and they're very useful. I use Aegis for my blades. Indemnity, which for protection of feints and traps. But overall, this is a very important school, and these ones, these spells are used for PvP a lot to destroy shields and do damage, so I would highly recommend not wasting your spells and really being smart about them, because this is a very important school in my opinion. Alrighty, now we have Shadow. And Shadow, honestly, there's only a few things you really need to know about Shadow. You don't need that, for some people, Nova may be useful if you're rocking a Nova, what's it called, in PvP, you may need it, but those two spells I really wouldn't recommend, because Nova really just is better than that. You may find new ways to use it, but donating Shadow, I don't recommend it. The only things I really recommend about Shadow is, it's called Shadow Strike, and maybe if you're Life to heal that, and Shadow Trickster for death. Honestly, because Shadow Tricksters, you could take pips while hitting, so it's pretty useful. So those three spells in general, Shadow Strike, Trickster, and Sentinel. So yeah. Now we're off to our last one, which I'm gonna just give you a backstory why I picked this one last. I picked this one because you can hit, what's it called, Storm, Fire, and Ice on this one, so I picked the Balance as my last school to do. Alright, now we come to our last and final one, Balance. Balance is a school of weakness, honestly. That's what I know it by. And they're usually, they use the other schools to their advantage. Like, for example, by advantage, I mean Hydra. Hydra does, what's it called, Fire, Ice, and Storm damage. And if you play that right, you could do a lot of damage in PvP. And honestly, in questing, it could be pretty useful. So I would really recommend. I wouldn't recommend it to like a high extent, but it's still recommended to do because they have the weaknesses. It could be useful in PvP. So overall balance is a pretty good school, and they picked it last because of the schools. So yeah, it's a pretty good school. I would recommend it. It's pretty good. Alright, so that's the end of the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope this may help you if you're starting a new wizard or you're just joining the game. Yeah, please like and subscribe and check out my Twitch, which I am streaming now. I'm going to start streaming Among Us on it, so yeah. Bye, guys. Heyo.